Those fingers in my hair that slide, come hither stare, that strips my conscience bare. It's witchcraft, and I've got no defense for it. The heat is too intense for it. What good would common sense for it do? 'Cause it's witchcraft, wicked witchcraft. And although I know it's strictly taboo, when you arouse the need in me, my heart says yes indeed in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to. It's such an ancient pitch, but one that I wouldn't switch. 'Cause there's no nicer witch than me. It's witchcraft, that crazy witchcraft. And although I know it's strictly taboo, when you arouse the need in me, my heart says yes indeed in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to. It's such an ancient pitch, but one that I wouldn't switch. 'Cause there's no nicer witch than me. Da-da-da.
Good morning, South Florida.
And welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe Morning Show.
Grab your coffee as we brew up the talk of the day.
From the latest scoop around town,
To feel-good stories and messages of hope.
a few jokes and live calling,
Highlighting local businesses.
discussing hot trends and news stories.
A dash of feel-good nostalgia.
I love those morning cartoons.
Keeping up with upcoming events.
Sometimes trying and delicious foods.
Weekly horoscope updates.
An occasional flying duck.
Some sparkle dust.
Don't forget my bell.
And my wand.
With our Brew Crew laughing on set.
So grab your coffee, your bagel, donut, or any breakfast as we get you up and ready for the rest of your day.
And don't leave us hanging. Here is a follow. Comment live or call right into the show at 994-4995, Studio B.
Whether it's a tip of the day or just to say good morning, we'd love to hear from you.
From Amp Media Production Studio, it's
The Brooklyn Cafe Morning Show.
Dawn, where's the snooze button?
Freddie, it's time to get up. We got a show to do. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Hang tight, guys. I'm pressing the snooze one more time.
And it's time to do a show.
Morning time, snooze button.
Welcome to the morning show.
Morning, morning, morning. Morning, Marcy.
She makes me nervous when she comes in the room.
She's got this.
Is this step better, by the way?
Look at her go.
They
Velcro the step. What would we do without Velcro?
Velcro is the new silly putty.
Who do you think invented Velcro?
Mr. Velcro.
3M, I think, right?
Mr. Velcro. He actually made it to stick his wife on the wall in the closet.
Remember the Velcro suits? Anyway, morning to you. Happy Tuesday.
Did anybody watch football last night?
Yeah.
How was it?
R.I.P. Nick Chubb. Yeah, I watched the Browns Steelers.
Did you see the Browns and Steelers game? We should. It's good. The Browns and Steelers game was good. The Steelers pulled that thing out. I don't know what's wrong with the quarterback from the Browns. There's something wrong with that guy.
And the Chiefs came?
No,
it
in the
It
other
wasn't the
game,
Chiefs. It was
Saints and the Panthers
Saints
on ESPN. Now that game was interesting because the Panthers almost came back to beat them.
When I got home, it was tied.
Yeah, the Panthers lost by 3.
So it was close, huh?
It was a good game. I'm just watching all these football things, and I'm looking at the numbers of people watching the games. It was pretty good stuff because we didn't even talk about putting your commercial on ESPN TV.
But ours are going to air, I believe, next week, right?
Yes, we have, which is the game. There's another doubleheader on Monday.
Eagles and Bucks, and then
Buffalo and the Rams.
Whatever it is.
I have some, I guess you could call it early breaking news,
Oh.
since of the fact that, we're a morning show.
And the voice from
The
beyond.
Rays are staying in Tampa Bay. They have a new stadium agreement as of an hour from now. They will be announcing live at Tropicana Field a new ballpark opening in 2028 in St. Petersburg. So they are not moving, they are staying, and the team is expected to fully pay for the stadium.
The
Now,
team.
now isn't this wild that the Tampa Bay Rays, are a winning organization, and they talk about them leaving because you ever been to their stadium in St. Pete?
it's terrible.
You think it's terrible?
It's terrible.
I love it.
I've got details on the new one.
Do they still have the big ship out there?
No, that's the Bucks football.
Oh, that's different? What's this one?
This is the one where the ball hits the stuff on the roof, and you
This is
gotta
baseball?
you gotta play it off the speakers, off the metal girders. I love that. I think that is so cool, but the professionals think that's very unprofessional.
Yeah, the players hate it.
Yeah.
I'm
like your hair,
very
Chelsea.
aware of that, but they say the doors are going to open in 2028, and due to known information already, the stadium is expected to have the same sort of dome roof and artificial turf field that the Rays already have. It'll seat around 30,000 fans and cost around $1.2 billion.
30,000 fans,
Yeah,
right?
and
So-
1.2 billion and the team's paying for it?
Supposedly, the team is fully paying for it.
yeah, that's okay.
So not the
That's a
not,
lot.
not the
1.2
surrounding
billion.
area like normal. We usually have like, I'm sure that there will be investors paying for some of this, right? But usually there's like a city that pays for this as well, and supposedly the city is not paying a dime.
They're not putting up junk bonds?
Yeah,
a future to
supposedly,
pay?
according to the Tampa Bay Times, the city is not paying for it.
I gotta tell you something. 30,000 people is not a lot of fans. How much do you think a ticket is gonna cost to watch this baseball team? With
I don't know,
30,000.
the Trop seats around the same number, right?
No, the Tribe seats, I think.
25?
No, I think it's about 48,000. I think we have to look
But
it up.
nobody sits in the upper deck, which is why I said 25. 'cause
They
the upper
do.
deck is
They
the
do
middle.
during playoffs. You know, they have a decent team.
Yeah.
They have a good team.
Oh yeah.
And I used to live by St. Pete, so they used to give me tickets to go see them all the time because nobody would go when I knew them. They were horrible. So nobody
Now
would
the
go.
Tampa teams are pretty good though.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
and
the
you got
Rays
hockey.
are a playoff team almost every year for the last decade, so they've been a pretty consistent team. If you want to talk about
Well, Tampa's
winning
the city of
organizations.
champions, right? You got the Bucks, you got
Right.
the
But
hockey.
Don, they had a lease agreement where this stadium, the Trop, was going to end in 2027, and they basically had an exit plan where, at least they were talking about it, where they'd share half of the city with Montreal because of the fact that nobody goes to their games, because the stadium is almost inaccessible just with traffic and the bridge over Tampa. It's almost inaccessible to get to that stadium to begin with.
You have to leave on Tuesday to get there by Friday.
Sounds like going to Miami.
I thought they were going to Vegas. Vegas is the new hot zone for sports because they don't charge any tax. To build there is tax free.
I think Vegas should like secede from the union or something because they're their own entity unto itself.
Yeah, we got the Las Vegas Athletics coming.
Because
from
gambling's
Oakland.
allowed, they don't pay taxes.
I always thought it was terrible for players to live and make,
There's-
especially making that much money.
Sin City.
Sin City. They really should not be-
We already had
yeah.
a lot of players be suspended, and things happen to them. For people that play for the Raiders, people that play for other Las Vegas teams as well too.
Well, you know that the Raiders, when they were in Los Angeles, were the bad blank of
I
the
know
league.
that was when they were in Oakland. That's who they were.
They should
Yeah,
kind of
and I'm
succeed from the
worried
union,
I'm
I
worried
think.
about
Make
Jimmy
themselves
G being in
independent.
Sin City. That guy can't help himself. He's a rich and handsome man. I am sure that he can't help himself being in Las
Temptation.
Vegas. It's way too tempting.
It's
to
like
go
the
out there.
Garden of Eden all over again. I feel
Exactly.
like God built this as like the present day Garden
Well,
of
I
Eden.
heard that the Raiders have a ban that you're not allowed to go into the strip during the season. You're not even allowed to visit. And if they see you there, you get suspended like 6 games, something ridiculous to keep the players
I
out
know.
of those places. Doesn't mean that I don't send Josh, go put $3,000 on what?
wanted to spend. Like if they're drunk enough, they're like, sorry.
Who are you? You're like this whole glamorous young woman that just walked in the door.
Thank you.
You look
Oh, look who it
beautiful.
is.
Do you know who this is?
No.
Freddie meets C squared.
Hi.
How are you? Wow, this is whole new you.
Thank you. I don't know. I got new hair. I'm
New
retaking
hair,
my-
new glasses.
got new glasses. I'm retaking my pictures for my student ID because I was like, I need to look good for this.
Wow.
Was that what you did on this? Is for
Yes,
the student
yes.
ID?
And you're
Yes.
still 19?
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like she grew up like 3 years in a few days.
I think you got married and had 3 children by the
Well-
time you get back.
We gotta light you up. You guys are dark over there. We gotta get you
Yeah.
another light.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. Same lighting as
It's the
usual.
gain,
just looks-
Josh. The gain on that camera. Somebody moved it down. Just open up that camera and go to the gain on the bottom.
Wow. I have to tell you, I was walking around DC the other day, and everyone is out smoking weed.
Yes, sir.
Everywhere, no matter where you go, you're just walking down the streets. I don't even know if it's legal. Apparently,
More.
It's kind of legal, so like
that's
if
what
you-
I was told.
like,
It's kind of
it's
legal.
kind of legal. You
In
can't like,
DC.
See, they have food trucks. They have food trucks where you can purchase flour and weed and all that.
Oh, all I know is no matter where you were, everyone was smoking. And what someone told me is that ever since Black Lives Matter, the police just turned the other way. They said because they can't even ask anyone whether they have a card, they don't have a card, it's going to incite a riot, so they just let it go.
Yeah.
Let
it's,
it go.
It's also because like
Every corner.
people are trying to like get more like because a lot of people get charged for like weed charges. And that's like a whole another problem. I personally don't like the smell of weed, and when people are smoking everywhere, like it kind
Everywhere.
of suffocates me. But they really can't because then that's a whole other problem of incarcerating people for having weed charges, and then instead of like getting them in trouble, they like go to jail for like a long period of time. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? So that's kind of it's a given tool.
Isn't there weed and then there's skunk weed that really stinks? It's really
I don't
bad.
consume weed. I have no idea.
Yeah, is there like a skunk?
Thank you.
Let's give
talk
it to
to
Josh.
Let's talk to the expert. Skunk weed versus regular weed.
I don't know if there's skunk weed, but there's different type of flowers that have a more potent smell to it. Definitely.
But are they better weed or worse weed?
You want a more potent smell, yeah.
The potent smell, the stronger the weed
Well,
is?
I
Yeah.
can tell you, go to DC, it's potent.
You-
Everywhere. No matter where we were, everyone was smoking.
Were you getting high off the vapors?
I don't know what I was getting. My stomach was hurting because no matter where, any street corner, any street walking, no matter, because you're walking all over the city, everywhere.
Now,
Bless you,
listen,
she sneezed on
now-
the truth.
Now
See?
there's a thing that they're trying to pass in the NFL where they're gonna allow marijuana to be used for healing.
Yeah.
The problem is like you say, there's good weed and there's bad weed, and they want to do it controlled so that, because they don't want to say, okay, here, smoke this to feel better.
I think in the NBA they already said that they won't test for weed or test for marijuana substances.
Is there anybody that come out positive?
Yeah.
But maybe then, if it's more acceptable, people aren't going to get it from bad sources. Then at least you know you're getting pure weed and not cut with fen and cocaine and all these other things.
Speaking of relaxed,
fentanyl
rules-
The
problem is
fentanyl
crazy.
problem is bad.
Bad.
The
A
fentanyl is
little bit
bad.
of fentanyl and it's the wrong one can genuinely
killing
kill
people.
you. Like
The fen.
Speaking of
the
relaxed
fentanyl.
laws in D.C., does anyone have a take on the Senate agreeing that they shouldn't have to dress appropriately to come to work?
When did
What's
that pass?
inappropriate?
Yeah, well, not inappropriate,
you
but
mean
that they...
you mean the thing where like the women were just like you can only wear something over your
No,
shirt.
not that. The Senate passed a rule yesterday basically saying that we can show up in whatever we want to wear.
Beach
because
wear.
We've been here for 50 years. Like, they were like, yeah, no, none of this dress code stuff matters anymore, so we can show up in, I don't know, a hoodie, or we can show up in a bathing suit. It doesn't matter. So I am just convinced that, like, you know, one of these days I'm going to see Mitch McConnell show up in, like, a bathing suit. And
Did they
Speedo.
pass that?
Yeah, they passed that yesterday.
A Speedo.
So you
have-
can wear
Mitch
anything you
McConnell in a
want.
Speedo.
yeah, you have relaxed dress code now in the Senate.
We have
so
so
we're
many
even more
problems.
of a joke than we are before.
Mitch
In the United
McConnell
States.
showing up in a Speedo.
Can I come in tomorrow and just swim trunks in?
You cannot. This is not the Senate. This is way above it.
They are our overseers.
No, they're
How
not
scary is
overseers.
that?
No, they're not overseers. They're not overseers. They just want you to think they are. They're out of control out there is what's going on.
It's a
They
whole
are
lot of
so out of control. Do you know what I found out? They say that Biden is older than dirt, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They say a lot of these
Hold on.
politicians are older than dirt.
But Trump is only 3 years younger than Biden.
There's this whole running joke that the entire U.S. government is honestly a retirement home for all these people because
it's not a running joke. It's the
it's
truth.
the truth because these people and they also vote against competence tests because they know if they go to the competence test they're not gonna win because everybody here keeps on going and going and going.
Well, what do you guys think of a competency test?
That's should
I
be
would
a
love
minute.
that.
If you have to take a competency test to drive, you should be able to take a competency test to make laws in the United States of America for every single
So
citizen.
what would you have? I agree with you, but what would
Yeah.
you have as part of the competency test?
I'm not smart enough for that. I don't know yet. They would have to. I would
Isn't it
put,
that test that Donald Trump took a couple years ago with the person, woman, man, camera, TV?
They said it's going to be something really simple, like what's today's date? How many children do you have? Do you know your
Do
birthday?
you know the color red? First of all,
I guarantee they don't. I mean,
I just-
if you look at the two, we could say the two eldermost statement, right? We can have Dianne Feinstein for the Democrats. and
she's
we can have-
94.
Yeah, and we can have Yeah, we can have Chuck Grassley and Mitch McConnell for the
He
Republicans.
is so
Wait,
Jeff
These
Santos.
guys have been there since.
But
These dudes-
Hey Jeff, they wheel her in
Yeah.
a wheelchair.
I know.
And
These
she's
dudes-
had 3 strokes.
And her aide
No,
is
trust me,
there.
And they keep her on the books because the Democrats need her vote to have the majority.
You
in the
know,
Senate.
these dudes have been here since the rise of the Cretaceous period. Like, there's
The
no
rise of the Cretaceous period. I
I
like
just
this
think
guy.
it's crazy how in
Cretaceous.
a country that is so praised for being like a powerhouse has an entire Congress / Senate just made up of like people that are reaching their end of life.
Yeah,
Near 100
geriatrics.
years old. And I just think it's so crazy because at the end of the day, it's all about power and it's all about greed. And that's why they
Oh,
refuse to
hold
retire.
on. Before we go to the greed part, because that's partially correct, there's other things. Can you imagine having a president run for the country from a jail
That too.
and having 64% of the vote? I mean, it isn't these bozo the clowns. It's the people voting them in.
I just think it's crazy also that there's just no law that says that you can't run for a presidency or any position at all of authority.
There is
Like,
one.
well, being in jail.
There is one.
There is one?
Yeah, so here's the thing. There's a catch-22 to this law. It does not apply to the vice president or president of the
What?
United States.
Same
It
difference.
applies to everyone else. It applies to House members and Senate members that if you're convicted of a felony, you cannot legally run for office.
That's ridiculous.
However, it does not apply to the president and
That's
vice president.
Now remember,
So-
you remember the president.
I don't know who wrote that rule, but I'm gonna guess that it has something to do with
Let's look it up.
you know the former sort of the president.
Look it up. Let's find out when the.
But-
I think Trump just changed
No,
that
no,
law.
but the kicker here is that the president can pardon you. So let's say you're going to jail, whatever, governor, whatever. I'm gonna pardon you, like the Pope, and all of a sudden you don't go to jail.
Freddie, he can pardon himself too.
You know, I don't know about that.
No, he
I
can.
think,
He can pardon himself too.
Can he?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
if
boy.
if Trump were to get reelected, he could pardon himself for any number of
What
crimes.
kind of rule is that? That doesn't even make sense.
I feel like another problem is people keep on idolizing and worshiping these political figures like they're just not politicians. I feel like we come to this point where like these politicians are like celebrities and they should never be that way. That's why like even though like people who are Trump supporters are so diehard Trump supporters because they love that man as like he's a celebrity. But no politician you should be praising like they're the best person in the world. Like I think the problem is we idolize politicians and like you should just see them as politicians, see what they're gonna do for you, and then vote for them and then leave them alone.
Well,
Like,
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me
Ever
ask
heard
you-
the term polycrats? I heard on
No.
TV the other day.
I've heard of
Politician,
autocrats.
like aristocrats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of autocrats,
But let me
Polygraph.
ask you guys a question. Would you vote for somebody who's anti-establishment before you even listen to their politics?
Meaning?
Yes.
Meaning that people vote for Trump because he's anti-everything.
Because he's a human being.
He
not
wants
a
to take.
politician.
He wants to drain the. He wants to drain the swamp in
But he
Washington.
is the swamp. That's the problem.
He wants to drain the swamp, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care how many rules he breaks because he's trying to get rid of. He wants to have a law that doesn't allow anybody except 2 terms in both the Senate and the House. Except him. He should be made king.
There should be
Remember
term
that one?
limits on a lot of things, I
That's
have
the
to
one
tell you.
thing that I feel like everybody agrees with in this country. There was a poll out yesterday that was like 85% of Americans agree with term limits for the House and the Senate. So at least we're coming together on that, where both sides, the Democrats and the Republicans, are looking at it going, damn.
But you know why
we
they
have
don't do it?
Really old people.
But do you know why they don't really want to do it? And you got to think.
Yeah, they want power
No,
forever.
no, that's one thing. But think the long game. Think the long game. Every year, every 4 8 years, you're going to change the Senate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to bring in different blood.
Which
And
means nothing gets done.
nothing will get
How
done.
about a 3-term limit?
Well, you would
Even
think
a
that it would be every
4-term
4 to 8 years in the Senate, but it's not. Because
Okay.
those guys have been there forever.
The
It's
way
same
they
thing with
put
the House.
laws together. So let's say that we want to pass an anti-abortion bill to feed federal money to the states, right? All of a sudden, Josh, the politician, comes along and says, I need a bridge built in my hometown. So if you want me to vote for this, I need a little money put on the side for my bridge. And then Dawn comes to clause and says, hey, I need a Publix built in my hometown where we have nothing. And they start adding all these things on the bill. So you're voting for something that initially has the name,
And
but if
everything's buried underneath it?
oh my God. Charlie was the best at doing this. He used to get money on every bill. So you're passing a bill. Oh, by the way, he was on the Ways and Means Committee, which he signs the check. You want my vote? I need a Yankee Stadium. I need rebuilding Yankee. That's how they rebuild Yankee Stadium. Is all this stuff.
Hidden monies?
Yeah, it's like, well, it's not even hidden, Don. It's like
It's
section
wide
one.
open.
It's not.
It's
It's
like
not.
section 1A of this bill that's 200 pages.
Yeah, but
Nobody's
think
gonna read
nobody's
the other
reading
one.
it.
Yeah,
so
that's
the
the
public is hidden. Not
Except
that
the
it's hidden, but no
accountants.
one's reading it.
The accountants, when they distribute the money, go, okay, let me see. Okay, I got to send money to Iowa, the Bronx, Staten Island, and Vegas. Oh, and by the way, he's the anti-abortion money. It's craziness the way they do business in this country.
Another thing I learned like in my government class, because like the Senate or it's either this, which one's only 2 years you have to until re-election.
It's the House.
The House, they don't 2 years to re-election. They have 1 year to try to do something, and then the whole other year is to try to get re-elected. So they really, like I said, they don't do anything. They're just trying to get re-elected over and over again.
Yeah, our system
Like
is
it's
absolute-
so bad.
Our system is absolutely bananas, but yet people are like, "Oh, this is the best system on earth." Is it though?
I think at this point we need a drink. You want to do some Tequila Tuesday because like it's so like it's.
I gotta ask you a question though. I was watching a segment the other day on TV, and it came to fruition in my real life yesterday.
Okay.
Find Friends is an app that everyone seems to be using now to know where all your friends are at all times. So G-Man sent me his Find Friends last night. So now I can track everywhere that Abraham is. So right now he is in Winnemucca, Nevada.
Yes.
Nevada.
He's in Nevada.
Because he's on his way from California to New Jersey. Why is that? I mean, I understand for
I
safety,
asked him.
maybe he wants us to know where he is.
I asked him to, yes. I asked him.
But when they do it, like you're going to find out where Gretchen is. So Gretchen could be, you know, on Las Olas.
No.
This is what they do now.
This is a temporary situation.
No, not for us. But this is what they do now. They all follow each other. Not you guys, but friends all follow each other. So you know, like, oh, maybe Royce's at her boyfriend's house, or maybe Royce's at Josh's house, because everyone now follows everybody. Why?
Yeah, do I want to know where everybody is at every single moment of the day?
One, it's
What if they're
safety.
in the bathroom.
And two, it can be fun to like text your friend just like, why are you at this place? And they'll be like, what? Like, I'm tracking you. Like, it can be a joke, but also a safety reason, but also just like, if you and your friends are hanging out, you know exactly where they are. Like, can you hurry up? I'm like, I'm over here. Like, I know you're over here. Like, no, you're still at your house.
That's assuming they want you to really know where they're at. And
You have to sign in to the app.
Yes.
If you don't want them to know where you're at, you don't
but
sign
it's a
in.
new thing. They say people now upwards follow like 60 people at a time.
Yeah.
It's kind of
See?
sketchy. I'm not gonna lie.
Right?
What about those people that text you and are like, "Hey, I'm on my way," and they're in a
And they
different
haven't left
state?
yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you'd be like, I see you're still at your house.
So
Like,
how many friends do you follow, or they follow you?
Well, I have a different one. I use Life
Use your mic.
I use Life 360.
Well,
So
why do you need to follow friends?
it's like so I can
Family.
it's family.
Or you
then
follow your family?
Yeah, and I can also track to see if like, oh, I come to my house, I can see that they're here. Like I can see their car, how fast they're driving, if they need to charge their phone.
Why?
I'll be like, charge your phone.
What? Why?
It's I have it for my little sister and my mom. And my mom keeps track of us, just making sure that if we
safe.
get into a car accident or anything like that, they know where we are.
Like, I understand it for family. I don't understand it for the friends.
Yeah, me
Because-
neither. I think it's a little too much unless you're in a situation where, let's say, you know, you're going out by yourself and it's at night, and you're in an area that may not be so safe. Then I can see maybe a friend of yours turning it on and saying, "Hey, I just want to turn this on and know where you are, just in case something might happen." But otherwise, I don't really see the point of it, especially if like most of my friends are going to be on campus. I know where you are. 75% of the time, I know where you're going.
My sister wanted me to turn this thing on because of the hurricanes in Florida. So I said to her, well, you should turn it on because this hurricane that passed me is going right to you.
Why hurricanes?
Hurricanes, when we have hurricanes here.
Why does she want to follow you if we've got a hurricane?
Because apparently, like if I say, okay, I'm evacuating.
Oh, she wants to know where
Boca.
you're at.
And I
know
said,
you're
for what?
safe.
You going to come and help me? You going to help me move? You going to come and give me a donut or something? What do you need to know where I'm going?
But this is a thing that everyone's doing now.
Yeah, and another thing people do, I don't do this because I don't use Snapchat that often, but a lot of people use Snapchat, but not for the same reasons as Life 360 and Find My Friends. So basically, like on Snapchat, you can follow people that you don't necessarily like. So you can just see where they are, and you can stalk their stories or whatever and see what they're up to.
You know, that's very creepy.
I know it is.
It's
I
all
don't
creepy, right?
do it, but I know people that do it.
How do you know about
Only
it?
if you share your location. If you choose to share your location to the public, everyone can see where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why would you want to follow somebody that you notoriously don't like?
So you can see their story and then complain about it with your friends.
But why would you? You're making fun of people.
It's beep talking.
What?
Be talking.
Beep talking.
I don't know
It's just
about
bad
that.
talking.
first line.
SHI.
All right, we got some Tequila Tuesday.
Yeah.
What do we mean?
You missed the line, Tequila.
1 ounce of vodka, red cranberry juice, club soda, and lime wedge. I drink this all the time, except I don't use red cranberry juice. I use just, what's that other?
It looks good, but it looks more like that strawberry colada at Dunkin' Donuts. Not
A
gonna
splash
lie.
of cranberry
That's what
juice.
That photo looks like to me.
It's fun. I've been looking at the tequila. I'm like, it's not spelled right. It's not spelled right. It's missing an I. Tequila, I believe. But we'll have to ask our fact checker.
Why is it called Cape Cod?
It is spelled that way.
That's where it was
It's
created.
spelled that way.
That's where it was created in
When I
Cape Cod.
first typed
Yeah.
it, when I first typed tequila, I was like, this looks wrong. So then I changed it, but then it said it was wrong, so I changed it back. And
No, yeah, it's Tequila.
yeah.
Tequila.
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 It's like a temp when they blow the shofar. They call it. It's tequila, but then people go like tequila,
You
tequila.
guys call breakfast. It's breakfast, damn it.
Same difference.
No, it's not.
Same difference.
You call this
wakey, eggs and bakey.
I want to mention you guys are like coordinating outfits again. Like your outfits go together, and I'm very happy. There's like
See
blue
that?
and a light blue.
We match.
You match. I like it. It looks so nice on camera.
So I guess we're gonna be doing a TikTok tonight. Is what it sounds like.
No, I ain't doing no TikTok because the last time I did a TikTok, my hip hurt for like 3 days.
Speaking of which, I think that one you did where we run a business was doing really well.
On YouTube, it has like 6,000 views.
What?
Yeah. It's just like it's so so good. Oh, I have so many more TikToks I want to do.
I feel like
I will have so many
Freddie should do
Kardashians.
One of those. I've watched like a YouTube video of this guy who does like a New York accent, and it's gotten over like 12 million views just because of his.
I
do
want
it.
Freddie to do one where she's like, "What happened to Model Man Boy and Dr. Not So Smart? What?" And the Hot Rabbi and the Hot Rabbi's cousin. Because Freddie has so many stories. We're gonna be like, "What happened to this person?" I don't know.
The Hot Rabbi
the-
story. I kind of dig that.
You could do that one.
Great question. What is everyone's Roman Empire?
What is that?
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
I think a lot.
Honestly, no, be for real. Like, how honestly do you think
I'm
about
being real.
how
Oh,
like?
wait, I know this.
Yes, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
I think a lot about the Roman Empire.
So, Dawn, there's this trend where you ask, like, these men, like, how often they think about the Roman Empire. And everyone's like, who thinks about that? But a lot of men just think about
Yes,
it on
we
a
do.
regular basis.
I'm like, what?
What?
The gladiators, the
the
gladiators.
Do you
gladiators,
think
they think
about
about
the
the
Roman
gladiators.
Empire?
See, but I'm a little different.
Shit, no,
think
you're
about
a lot
I don't think
different,
about the
but-
Roman Empire. I
Josh.
think about the Egyptian Empire.
Josh, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Once a month,
At least.
at least once a
Antonio?
week.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Never.
Never.
Oh wow.
He's good. I think about it maybe
Jeff,
like Josh.
how often do you do you think about the Roman Empire, Ethan?
What are you thinking about?
Like when you, it's a Roman Empire is basically something that you think about unironically. That's like, why are you thinking about this at a random time?
Once a month. So what do you think about?
It was the greatest time man has ever walked on this planet.
Every Sunday there is an
I think more
NFL.
about the dinosaurs.
There's NFL games, football, and NCAA. Any football game that you've ever seen is a gladiator sport.
So you think about the Roman Empire every Sunday?
If that counts, then yes. I can see that.
Think about how you go to war every Sunday when you're a football player.
You go to war every day.
No,
I
I
mean,
mean
if
in
you
football.
go to war, we had a
In
guy who
football.
had maybe a career-ending injury yesterday. Maybe.
Yeah, and if I see Dak Prescott, he's probably a cool guy. He's probably very nice. Probably gives a lot of money to charity and all that. But once I see him strap on that Cowboys outfit, I want to chop his neck off.
You're like a gladiator.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I was coaching, we had to teach how to be intense and under control. Because you don't want the fights that are occurring. And what's happening is you have to break people down, kids down psychologically to become gladiators. To play hurt. To play blood coming out of your mouth and your nose. Did you see Deion Sanders? He wiped the kid's mouth. I mean, a hit that he took vicious. He wiped the blood and said, you'll be all right.
Yeah, speaking of, did you see, Freddie, the 60 Minutes interview with
Yes.
Deion Sanders?
Yes.
Did you watch it yesterday? What'd you think?
What'd you think, yeah?
I joined the Deion Sanders club when he was hired to coach Colorado. Do you know they hired him on a contract? They don't have the money to pay him.
You should have seen him at Jackson State.
I heard
That-
about Jackson State.
Yeah, that was I
He
think
was
it's
too
Division
intense for them.
Division II football school or something like that. But he brought them to an undefeated record.
But he
and
was
that's
too
why,
intense for the school.
Yeah,
The
because
kids would complain.
yeah, I think he after Colorado, his tenure's done there. I think he should go back to his alma mater at Florida State and coach there, and he would have a
I think
beautiful
he
ride.
should go to
Yeah, he would.
programs that need him. And Colorado gave him this wild contract, and he signed it. And they told him, we don't have the money today,
But we will.
but we will.
Yeah, they're going to banks to get loans.
And
to
they got
pay
the
this.
loans to pay him.
You should see all the commercials they have. They're not talking about the education and how good it is to be a Colorado student. They're talking about that they have Coach Prime now, and that's your reason to go to Colorado University.
Well, it's funny because
Football games.
Again, we talk about holding celebrities in high esteem.
Well,
Wow.
he had a kid who's a defensive player, I think, a superstar.
He's
Travis.
got two of them. He's got
One
the
of them-
quarterback and he's got a wide receiver. They're both.
But
sons
one of them
his.
got hurt.
Yeah, Travis
And-
Hunter. He's
and
a,
then, he's out for 3 weeks. And he
Yeah.
told Travis Hunter, for the next 3 weeks of your life is school. It ain't football. And he says, no, coach. But he says, no, you're going to come to practice and do your thing, but it's about school now. Because if you can't be here, you're going to be there. Because it's football and school. And he is adamant about that. Adamant. I remember Coach Mark, he set up a whole program because it's tough to be a student athlete in Florida with 106 degrees and you're practicing with all that gear on.
Yeah, true.
And then you don't want to go home and study for your finals this week. You have to sleep. So we started practice early in the season and we were having them run 20 miles
In the
a
morning.
week. Yeah, we had them running, so that that heat fatigue didn't set in. I learned a lot coaching. It's not like coaching up north, man. It is hot down here.
So that goes with the Roman Empire.
Absolutely.
What's
Train
your
the
Roman
people
Empire? My Roman Empire is the ocean. I think about that a lot, and how like people are just always just like, oh, aliens are real, or they're up there. I'm like, no. Do we know what's in our oceans? Have you seen the animals there? The aliens are already here. Have you seen what an octopus and a squid can do? The ocean is absolutely
why don't you tell
crazy.
me?
How do you know that UFOs aren't hiding underwater?
They
That's
are.
That's what I'm saying. We haven't even discovered. The ocean is crazy.
They're in Antarctica right now. Underneath all
UFOs?
the icebergs.
Well, I heard now that the ice is beginning to thin out, that they're finding all sorts of things. Have you guys ever been to St.
Woolly Mammoth, the Jurassic Park woolly mammoth that they're
I
trying
heard
to
about that
revive.
too.
Yeah.
St. Augustine. You ever been to St. Augustine?
I heard it's beautiful.
Okay, St. Augustine, according to records, it depends on who you want to believe, was the first piece of land discovered in the New World. And there's a lot of argument that they're saying it's Plymouth Rock versus
Right.
St. Augustine. But they have proof that St. Augustine was first, right? So I stood in St. Augustine where they have the pier, and I stood there, and I thought about the Roman Empire. I'm serious. And
Really?
then if you watch my Greek wedding, Freddie, whatever that thing is, part 3, they go into the ocean. I went to Greece, and I went into the ocean, and I said, wow, there was history. Napoleon was in these waters. There was history. The Roman Empire was
Is the Roman Empire? Is it to me? I'm just confused. Is it a literal the literal Roman Empire, or
The
is it
literal Roman Empire.
But you guys are using it as something that you think about.
No,
Now
because
it's a metaphor.
the Roman Empire is something that men constantly think about. For me, my Roman Empire is Percy Jackson.
But I'm saying, like, is it now? Are we using it as like a slang term to mean something that you think about?
Slang
often?
term,
Now
yes.
we're using it as a slang term. Like, what is
Okay,
your
so
Roman
it's not the literal Roman Empire
It's
anymore.
both. So it
Okay.
started off as literal.
It
Something
depends on how
constantly
you
think
view it.
about.
It depends on how you view it. It could be a view of power, the gladiators. I built that gladiator dome. What's it called? The Coliseum. For Freddie's high school project.
I did one of those.
I built it out of clay.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
And I had Michelle and Beth and everybody, even Gio helped, right? Because I took the room and I put pictures of the Coliseum.
So you built Freddie's project.
Did
Did you get a good grade?
Somebody took it and they took a hammer
And
to
they
it.
smashed
in the school. He got an A and then somebody destroyed it.
That was messed up.
Kids
I mean,
are
that
just
sounds like
messed
the
up.
literal Roman Empire right there.
Yeah, they would destroy things.
And Coach Mark put
Collapsed
out
overnight.
Coach Mark put out a bounty. He says, I want to know who did this. He was so upset.
Did you see there was a bear in Disney World yesterday?
What?
What?
A real bear?
A real bear. They had to close off Frontierland and Adventureland and Liberty City. Liberty
and
Tree.
what happened?
They had to bring in the state wild animal control to
They got
capture
it?
the bear, and they caught the bear. They closed off half of Disney World.
They tranquilized him? They didn't euthanize him, did they?
They did not say. I would venture to say they're probably going to. They've caught 250 alligators since that kid was killed in the lake in Disney World. 250. And there was a real. You got the real bear?
I mean, it was in Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
They have
Yep.
alligators in
They
Orlando?
carted off the bear like a choke.
You see the way they carted the bear off, like
Nick
with a
Chubb.
white sheet on top of it. They got like overhead footage.
Yeah, 'cause
Can you imagine?
that's a whole PR scandal for Disney. They can't have that.
That was even in the park, it looks like. It looks like it was like.
Frontierland.
But how did the bear even get in the park? Like,
Well, that's
listen,
my
was the bear in the
question.
woods?
I'm
Did it
going
run
to
out
tell
of
you,
a zoo?
I have a
It
gator,
was in the woods.
allegedly.
It saw the animals, and it was like, well, this is my place now.
I have a gator allegedly where I live. And I was told 12 years ago, 11 years ago, there is no gators here. Guaranteed. Because people walk their little dogs, they go out, all of a sudden the dog's missing. Gator ate the freaking dog.
Well, ever since that little boy was killed at the Grand Floridian, they've caught 250 alligators in the beaches
Remember
of
the kid
Disney
that was
World.
killed in Orlando? It was funny. The father was with him. The kid went by the water, zip, gone.
Nothing funny about it. It was horrible.
Somebody filmed it is the thing I don't understand. What the hell, man?
And now there's a
somebody
bear.
filmed, like an alligator biting off somebody's hand at a golf course in Orlando.
So my question is, how did the bear actually make it into the park without somebody getting it?
No, was it Magic Kingdom and
Can't they
Island?
climb?
Like, was it a big bear or was it like a baby?
Based on the structure they
You
had it
wanna
carting
go
off
look?
on, it looked like,
Get-
I don't know, can we find a picture?
Get up and close and find out.
We found pictures, but they don't look very.
They're not going to show the bear because if they show
I'm
the
sure
bear,
people
are
have
gonna
put
be
it all
upset.
over social
What
media.
about panthers? Do you know Florida has black panthers?
I didn't know Florida had brown bears, let alone
I know we
Yeah,
got
Black
coyotes,
Panthers.
but
No, we have cougars in Florida.
yeah, cougars.
You got Florida black panthers. If you go to the Everglades, I saw one.
Apparently
once.
we've got coyotes living in Boca.
I have a coyote where I live.
Oh my god.
There's coyotes living in East Boca from what I hear.
I have a coyote by my house.
You
I
have
took
a coyote
picture.
too?
I had
Did
a,
you?
I have a red
That's
coyote
what
in
I
my
heard.
backyard.
Yeah, you know how beautiful Florida was before everyone came here?
Yeah, it was like all.
All we are is just a wildlife preservation, and then we've been swamped by masses of people coming in.
Like the Everglades are crazy, and they had to like stop building on them because there was too much land.
There's
Like
the bear that they're carrying.
It looks pretty big.
it's a big
It looks like it's a big bear.
It's a big
This
bear.
looks
Yeah.
like the forest. Like
I
this
don't know,
is-
but like, wouldn't you think that a bear would be more near, like, I don't know, Animal Kingdom because of the fact that
that's not here. I don't think we have Animal Kingdom. Do we?
In
Have
Disney
I'm
World,
just
there's
saying,
Animal Kingdom.
isn't there a part of both Disneyland and Disney World that has
Has
like,
Animal
I could
Kingdom.
have sworn that bear looked like DeSantis.
No,
There's a photo of one with DeSantis on Google.
So they're saying that the bear was attracted by the smells of Disney World. I'm like, and that's the excuse that the bear got into the theme park? The fact that nobody got hurt is the
First
thank
of all,
goodness.
It's we live in
It's a,
in
you
a
The conspiracy
we
thing?
live in a state where there's a lot of
it's one
trees.
Like the Onion. It's one of those.
Did you know we have black bears in Florida?
Yeah.
I did not even know that.
Do you know that we have wild boars in the Tampa region?
Yes.
Where I
Yes.
went to, when my football players, they used to live in, what is the name, north of Tampa? What's that town? Where people go to buy houses now. But anyway, he had a house there, and I go, smell a pig. I said, what is that? And he had wild boars that he captured.
Just drive out an hour west of here and see what you can find.
And
You're going to find boar that are 250, 400 pounds.
And do you know how destructive those things are? They grind the dirt, the grass, and
Trust
they
me,
leave.
I know how destructive they can be. At boarding school, we had 6 live ones that we had to feed every single morning at 5:30.
Wild boars?
Oh yeah.
Are you insane? Those
No,
things
not
will eat
insane.
you up.
We had a dorm and we had a farm that we would use, and we captured the ones that were up there in Vermont, and this because they're just totally wild. And we had 6 of them that we would feed slot buckets, which are like from the dining hall of extra food that we would have at boarding school, and they would just
And
they
you know
would
this?
eat all of that stuff within.
You guys know how to feed pigs, right?
It's Dublin Slum. But yeah.
I eat everything.
Isn't that child endangerment?
No, not specifically.
I don't think that's safe.
I think they had like teachers with us doing it. It wasn't like we just did
That's
it.
Still,
crazy.
though, like,
We had to
oh my
get up
God.
at
Don't
like 5 in the morning
feed-
in order to do it.
You do not feed a wild boar.
Were they wild or were
You
they
will be-
captive?
They were wild when we captured them, and then
So they were captive.
Well,
Now-
by the time I got there, they were
They-
2 years in from being captured.
Now I heard, I don't know if it's true, it's a TikTok story that I saw, that they had, in the Vietnam War, they had cities underneath, tunnels. And one of the reasons that we couldn't get everybody out of the tunnels, because the entrance to these tunnels were in these cages with wild boars. And they used to move the boars into another part of the cage to come in and out. But when the Americans got there, they didn't see any other cage, and they couldn't get into the tunnels because it was a secret compartment where these boars were.
Yeah, they also have those in ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and ancient Egypt.
Ancient Rome, and
Back
yeah.
to the
Roman
gladiators.
Empire.
And we're back to the
Yeah,
Roman
back to the
Empire
Roman
again.
It all
Empire.
comes back to the Roman Empire.
Who knew? I had no idea.
Yep. You know, they had the most complicated water system in the world.
Aqueducts.
Yeah, aqueducts.
Aqueducts.
Yeah.
That's how we learned
First
how to
into
do
plumbing.
plumbing, indoor plumbing.
So you see in Israel and Jerusalem, they found all these carved out. They look like aqueducts. They don't know what they were used for. They still can't figure out what these carvings were in Jerusalem. They thought it was aqueducts. They thought maybe it was like shelving. Still don't know.
In Turkey, they found cities buried underneath, I guess, hurricanes.
Because now with all the water
and with the
receding.
water receding, they found all these ancient cities. There is cities. There's a city, I think, on Riviera Beach that they were telling us about. Somebody's up there right now. A Jacques Cousteau guy is up there right now, and they found some kind of city up there.
Didn't Atlantis start to come up with all the water that's receding?
And
That they
then
found
They're saying that
the
they
lost city of.
Yeah, they're saying that. I mean, I don't know if it's really Atlantis, but they're saying that they found a city that
That
you
they
would
think is right.
most resembles.
It's pretty
what we
fascinating.
Think of Atlantis.
It's pretty fascinating when you find history showing itself
I mean,
for those that
a
don't
lot
believe.
It's got to be under the ocean, right? Like a lot of that stuff has to be under the ocean because of how much the continents have shifted and stuff. A lot of that stuff has to be under the ocean right now.
I think,
Now,
Probably.
I think another Roman Empire is like the city of Pompeii,
so you're
the volcano.
Oh yeah.
Like I think about that like all the
people.
time.
You think about that?
I think about it all the
went there.
time.
I went there. They're perfectly preserved. It looks just like somebody made a cast of a human being because that's what it is.
It's like what happened
I went
in
to
Hawaii.
Santorini, and they have the people like this.
Wow.
They would, but the volcano, they took them in.
It's very sad. You would think hopefully we would learn from all of those things.
They have ships that come in. They don't let you touch them or anything. You can take pictures, but they preserve them because people want to see. Now go to
Suffering?
Maui, you're gonna have the same problem.
Dawn, I have a question. How was your New Year? How was Rosh Hashanah?
Oh, it was beautiful, thank you. I got to spend it with my daughter and smell a lot of weed walking around this in
How about you,
DC.
Oisi? How was your Rosh Hashanah?
It was really good with my family. With my family, just I miss my grandma and cousins because when we back then Turkey we were all together, but now we weren't.
But you had a nice small one, your mom said,
Yeah, we had.
which is
I
nice.
just enjoyed apples.
Did you have your round challah and the apples and honey?
Mm-hmm.
I poured some honey on my yogurt. That's about as close as I got. And Chelsea had apple cider. Apparently, there was some drink. She had apple cider chai latte. She's like, "All right, this is like my apple honey on my
Wait a minute,
yogurt."
there's an apple and honey dish that
So
we
with
didn't
fruit,
do.
it symbolizes the
Yeah,
sweetness.
Rosh Hashanah, you put apples
Apples
and
and
Really?
honey together.
He
and
played
then-
the same song 3 times about dipping apples in honey.
Yeah.
For a sweet New Year.
Yes, sweet New Year.
Apples and honey.
And then you also have
So why-
pomegranates, the fruitfulness of it, because there's so many seeds.
Okay, so why didn't we get some apples yesterday, chop them up and get it there, a vat of honey so that everybody could dip in
We'll
it?
do that today.
But
We'll
you
head
didn't
out.
tell me that. I didn't know.
I got apples and peanut butter.
Yeah, but peanut butter isn't as sweet as honey.
Roshi, what are you gonna
That's the
say?
point. You gotta have a sweet
Also
thing on top.
for Rosh
It's like having
Hashanah, when
sugar
you
on
do
top of waffles.
amotsi, you cannot dip it to the salt. You have to dip it to the honey.
Yeah, because it's sweet
Yeah.
instead of the saltiness that we think of with like tears.
So we'll get some
Most of Jewish history.
next holiday. So we'll get some honey.
Which will be,
We
I
should
don't
get
know,
some challah.
Saturday?
I want to try round
It's
challah.
next Monday.
No, Saturday,
No,
Sunday.
because I don't have class next Monday.
You don't?
No.
Yeah,
Wow,
next
this
Monday.
is
He's right.
unbelievable.
He's right, but there's
Sunday night
also
and Monday.
like
Next Monday
there's a
is
Jewish
Kippur,
holiday every other
so-
week, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't keep up. Every single weekend, I hear about a new Jewish holiday, and like I'm a Jew and everything, but like you guys are just making up holidays at this point. Every single week, there's another one.
No,
It's
this
been like that
month
forever.
We'll go get a round challah this week.
A what?
A round challah.
Around how? Why don't you get the whole
Challah.
thing?
A round challah. They make it round for the new year.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
As
round.
opposed
It's a
to
custom.
braided in a
Yeah,
loaf,
they're Publix.
you
Instead
get a
of
round.
square challah, you're gonna get a round.
Get a round one. And if you get them with raisins, that's for a sweet New Year also.
Wait, Roshi, you were gonna say something. You didn't finish.
No.
Yom Kippur is Monday.
Yeah, Yom Kippur is Monday. And
Can we get some pumpkins in here?
For what?
Yes, actually.
Oh, you carved one last year.
It's spooky season. Spooky
season.
season.
It's-
Ooh.
Didn't you
It's-
carve it last year, or was it Slick that carved it?
Still.
You
Josh
carved
did.
it. Oh yeah, we should have a pumpkin contest.
It's
Trippy
months.
came up with a whole lot of activities to do for fall, so we're going to start going through the activities. One of them was pumpkin carving.
We should have a pumpkin carving. Who has the best carving? Put the guys against the girls.
Well, I'm not artistic, so it would be Josh against Zaria.
Is she good at
I'm
pumpkin
gonna go
carving?
with the
She's
girls on this
Good at
one.
drawing, so hopefully.
No, Josh
Josh
did a
great
nice
job
job
last
last
year.
year.
I've never gone trick or treating, and I've never carved a pumpkin in my life.
You will.
No,
you
because I'm
will.
not from here.
Overhand high
I've never
five.
done
You
it
will.
before, but I've always wanted to.
You will this year. You will, and you're going to teach them how to do a parranda.
¿Qué es eso?
Huh?
Parranda.
¿Qué es eso?
Alegre vengo de la montaña. When they do
Ah,
the
sí, sí.
parrandas.
Okay, okay, okay.
So we're going to teach them our Latino culture, what we do on Halloween,
Yes.
which is a parranda.
You do that on Halloween? I thought that was
That's what they do,
Christmas.
Dia de los Muertos,
We do it every day.
I mean, in DR, we don't really do anything for Halloween.
Day of the Dead.
Well, then DR, they have an instrument. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
get
no,
your
no,
hand
no.
on it.
Yeah,
Can you get one of those?
I mean,
It's like a conga and it beats and all.
oh, Oh, I mean, I don't know where I can find those, but
Well,
like,
see if you can.
we
This
don't
is the
really
best.
celebrate
Did you
Halloween.
do that one?
Hanukkah,
That was my favorite one I've ever
That's
done.
a cool
We
one.
don't really celebrate Halloween there because.
You did that?
Oh, what's that?
You celebrate Dia de los Muertos, don't you?
Thank you.
No, that's we don't do anything for Halloween because like
It-
my country's like really religious. Like we have a Bible on our flag, and most people are like Catholic or Christian, so Halloween's considered like a devil holiday. So that's
It-
why no one celebrates it.
Jewish people don't typically celebrate Halloween either. We do because it's become so secular, but as a whole, because it's a pagan holiday and it's all of that,
and it's
they really
funny
don't.
because 90% of what you do comes from the pagans.
Yes.
But who does?
What everybody does.
Oh, that meant what I do.
What everybody does. You know,
Like
everything
Christmas
that
or
we
like
talk about,
Christmas.
superstitious stuff that we believe in.
Speaking of which,
Pagan
what did it say?
beliefs.
Don't step on a crack.
Break your
Break
mother's
your
back.
mother's
Black cat.
My friend
ladders.
won't let me split a pole with her. She's like, no. She grabs me before
A
I
pole?
like split a pole.
Oh, really? You
Yeah,
can't
she-
have a pole walk. You can't like.
We can't split poles. Like she won't let me do it. She's like, no.
Why is that a bad? Is that a
It's
superstition
just,
thing?
yeah, it's a superstition. It's a bad thing. Like you're just like you're breaking apart from somebody.
You have a superstition?
Me?
Baseball players are the most superstitious.
Yeah, what's everyone's
By far.
superstition?
Oh yeah, 100%.
No, so they don't change your socks, your underwear, or something.
They got crazy stances. There was like this Nomar Garcia Parra, ex-shortstop of the Red Sox when I was a kid.
Yeah, but
would do,
he's
like, a
weird.
series of
No,
toe
he's
taps and
weird.
glove
No,
underswings.
these guys are weird. These are exceptions.
Dan Marino
to
used to
the
always like
rules.
lick his
No,
fingers, and I was like, ugh.
They would do that. They would have kids easily mimicking their moves. I mean, they have these
Yes.
weird superstitions. Like I read about how Nomar would also need to put both feet on every step of the dugout
Yeah.
coming up to the field. Like that's one of the things he would need to do in order to get ready. That's crazy.
Antonio, you have a superstition?
Maybe when I'm watching sports, like sometimes if my team needs like a game-winning field goal, I'll change the channel like right before he kicks it. I swear it works every time. So
Okay.
it works.
Unless
You
you're
are
a
horrible to watch a game with.
What's your superstition?
I don't really have. It's just the splitting the pole thing. My friend was just like, okay, I don't split the pole with her. Like I
Roman
like,
Empire.
Roman Empire.
You never ever do something every day because you're superstitious and you want it to always end up good. You never change, never.
I don't have any mirrors facing each other, and I don't have any mirrors facing my bed because I think something bad is gonna happen if I have mirrors facing.
It's
my bed.
funny when people die, like when whatchamacallit's dad died. I told Dawn, cover the mirrors because my mother used to do that.
Yep.
And everybody was like, what? When I was in the 3-4 and a cop got shot, they used to cover all the mirrors and put all the black stuff out.
You have superstitions? You do for
Me?
sports.
I watch the Jets lose. I move around the house until I find, and then
And
they
you throw your
score,
jersey
and
away?
I'm like this, and then they got scored on. I took my jersey, I threw it in the garbage. That didn't work either. Nothing worked.
Royce, do you have superstitions?
Yeah, I have. I never give something sharp like scissor or knife. I put on table, and then the other person.
Has to come get it.
Because if I do that, I believe that we will have an argue with that person.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I have one New Year's Day. You walk to the ocean, and you formulate like all of us be in a line, and we walk backwards into the ocean 3 times. I learned that in Puerto Rico.
Go to
Don't
the
you guys do
ocean.
the 12 grapes?
They did that. My sister does that. I
We
tell
got a
me,
lot of things to do.
You can eat 12. Just give me the bag. Here, take 12 for you and the rest for me.
So Tristan
And
came up with a whole list of activities for fall, so we're going to start working on some of those activities.
Trisha had a little car accident yesterday. I think she better start following some superstitious stuff.
I know. You ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, we got a meeting today.
All right. Have a great morning, everyone. Stay safe. Let us know how many times you think about the Roman Empire, because I had never
Josh, want
thought
to know?
about it until the
You
question.
do every day. You just don't think about it.
Actually, I thought about it when we went to see Jesus Christ Superstar, but before that, hadn't thought about it in a very long
That's true,
time.
too. Yeah, okay.
All right, more to come. Have a great day. We'll see you in a little bit.
Don't be late.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Brooklyn Cafe Morning Show. My mug is empty, and you know what that means.
I think it means it's time for a coffee refill.
As we prepare for other shows here at the Amp Media Production Studios.
Tune in for more fun and laughs at 12 o'clock for our afternoon show.
And remember to like, follow, and subscribe on our page.
Have a great morning, everyone. Stay safe and be kind to each other.
And don't be late.